I'll teach you how I generated confidence over 6 years in the next 10 minutes or so. I come from Nigeria, where there are so many limitations, ranging from belief system to physically. Here, the average billionaire is over 50. What does that even have to do with anything? How does that correlate to limitation? The problem is, when you pass certain age, your taste changes. So if you fall in that generation of billionaires, instead of opting for a Ferrari, you rather choose a Range Rover or some heavy car like G-Wagon or so. The average young man in Nigeria, if you were to take a survey and ask the average individual, what's your dream car? It's most likely going to be a Mercedes from 215 or 216. Not necessarily because they don't want a Lamborghini, but that concept it doesn't exist. No one here can fathom buying a Lamborghini. It's because that's what you've been exposed to physically. Very few people drive a Lamborghini. Sure, in Lagos, Nigeria, there are few luxury lifestyles or things that attempts to capture a semblance of luxury, but the reality of it is 90% of places, even the roads, aren't conducive for sports cars. Why am I giving you this background story? To show you how deep in the lack of confidence department I was. So you are struggling with confidence of speaking to the opposite sex, or trying to speak up at an event, or disregarding anxiety and sticking true to your beliefs. Well, there are some people who are a step further from you. So when we are done with the limitations and the limiting beliefs, then we come to your echelon of trying to become confident. But I believe you don't fall in the former part. So let's zoom through the discourse of today. We cannot talk about confidence without exploring the extreme opposite, which is timidity. Timidity, as you know it, is the opposite of confidence. And as Madara famously remarked, the concept of the victor cannot exist without the vanquished. So it's an equal and opposite reality of life. So in order to be confident, you have to be timid. Think about that for a second. In order to be confident, you have to be timid. I see things as character traits, and if you've been following this channel for long enough, you would come to the realization that we break things down step by step, as opposed to some abstract notion that is unattainable to the average individual. So, when you sustain certain character traits, you will be ascribed as confident. Confidence is just a bundle term of the various character traits. For instance, if someone walks into a room, posture straight, chin up high, speaks in an assertive manner, repeats questions that are asked. So you're saying, if I do X, Y, Z, repeats question. Over a long enough time frame, you would describe him as confident. I'm sure most of you jizz on your pants out of excitement. So you mean I don't need to put in the work as all these influencers advocate? I don't need to experience that rigorous process of doing this, doing that. All I have to do is embody some character traits. Well, my friend, if you go down that path, it would work for you for a certain amount of time, but on a long frame you would lose, because you cannot project anything other than yourself for a long enough time frame. It's only a matter of time before you are exposed as the imposter. you are. Funny story, and I believe I've shared this story countless times. I had this guy who would talk so much about personal development, talk about getting ahead in life, talk about success, talk down on women. I need no bitch. I have no time for bitches. Yeah, personal development, push-ups, going to the gym. My thought was, this is the kind of person I want to hang out with. I need pillars in my life. One morning, something remarkable happened. On our way to the supermarket, we were strolling. "Hi," said some tiny lady. Startled, he responded, and for the next 5 minutes, a timid conversation would ensue between both of them. He left that conversation like a funeral because not only did he lose credibility with me, even worse, he lost credibility with himself. That guy's confidence is going to revert back to baseline. Even worse, recede further, establishing a new baseline. It's the same thing with you when you embody things like character traits hinged upon nothing. That's like building a house on sand. The moment the wind of inaction blows on your mansion, you would come to the conclusion very quickly that all you have been living in was a mirage. So the only way to build sustainable confidence is to first sustain the idea that confidence is generated, not outsourced. That's the first thing. The second one is action. Take action. I'm sure some of you have shut up and been like, action again. But no, action doesn't necessarily entail going to the gym, reading 30 pages a day, do this, do that. No, those are all vehicles of action. So start by doing the small things. Start by not breaking promises to yourself. Ask yourself, what would need to happen today that I can look back upon with pride? Then go do that. Do exactly that. The problem with doing small things, and this is the mistake most of you make, is dwelling in that action indefinitely. If you keep doing small things, inevitably you would produce diminishing returns. And for those of you who are dumb, you don't know what diminishing returns is. So diminishing return is the more effort you put into activity, it gets to a time where you begin to produce less returns. Usually it's more effort, more productivity, but this is the inverse. You get lesser productivity. A good example would be if a customer derives satisfaction from one bottled water. If you give him another one and another one, once he gets to the 4th bottle, satisfaction begins to decrease. So more bottled water equals decline in satisfaction. You understand? So more small activities equals to decline in confidence. The only reason you derived confidence from that activity once was because you've never done it before. But the moment you've done it, you now know how to achieve it. You know it's possible. You don't receive those dopamine hits from that activity because you've received it before. No one clapped twice for the same thing. If you need applause, you need something different or another activity done on a long enough time frame. For instance, there are activities that are not one-off, like going to the gym, for instance. It needs to be compounded in order to attain very good physique. So confidence is derived from action. Keep taking action. Take action today. Avoid people who champion inaction and try to make you believe that you can manifest your way into confidence. It's impossible, it's a lie, and it's a scam. They are trying to oversimplify a very difficult concept in an attempt to get paid. Any NSC fan shouldn't fall for that kind of trick. So take action, do something today, and you'll be fine. As always, my friends, pleasure speaking to you. See you in the next one.